Hello everyone, I am the MoeChicken. Welcome to my stream. In the last stream on Tuesday, we started two PS2 games, Musashi Samurai Legend and Dynasty Warriors 3. And we couldn't play much Dynasty Warriors. It broke after the first level, and that was frustrating. So I got another PS2 from my inexplicably numerous amount that I've collected over the years. And hey Lemon Laurie, thanks for stopping by. This will be up on my VOD channel, so feel free to check it out then. I'm just gonna be goofing around in Dynasty Warriors, so thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we didn't get to play it very far last time, so I want to play again. So we're gonna goof around in Dynasty Warriors 3. Let's go ahead and get started. Bleh. There's the opening sequence. There's Zhao Yun. Now, a neat thing about this little, this animation thing you're watching right now is that you can actually customize it with whoever you want to be in each part. So, you could potentially have, an entire sequence where it's just, all the same person. Actually, can I do that? Can I customize yet, or do you have to have beaten the game to do it? Option. So first I gotta load. Where's I gotta load? Load game. Yep. There we go. Cool. Back. Yeah, I think you have to have beaten the game to do it, and unfortunately on this save file I don't have a finished game. So we're gonna play some free mode because we gotta make your character stronger. They're kind of weak right now, so let's go to the Yellow Turban Rebellion on the Han side, so I can hear the amazing line. Let's see, who do I want to be? So we were playing as Sun Zhang. She'll be like our Wu character. So we probably need one for each group. So we have Wu. We don't have many choices for Wei. We have Xiahou Dun, Dian Wei, who. So, side note, when I was in graduate school, I had a teacher. My thesis advisor was like a bald dude. And he kind of looked like Dian Wei, in the face, basically. So I definitely photoshopped his head onto Dian Wei a couple of times, which is fun. And we have Zhang He, who I don't really know much about. I don't know. I guess I play as Zhang He. Wei Yan, no. We might have to play as Ma Chao. Who plays Ma Chao? Ma Chao used to be my favorite character. He's still up there. I liked him because he wears dragoon armor. And his name means super horse, I think. Something like that. I think it translates to super horse, so there is that. But I don't really have much going for him right now. Alright, yeah, it's fine. Bodyguard. No! No bodyguard, no! Do I have any horses? Hang on, do I have a horse? Ma Chao is so much better if you put him on a horse. I don't have any horses. Nuts. I'll have to find a horse. Okay. Yeah, I used to always play as Ma Chao. He actually isn't terribly good in this game. He's much better in Dynasty Warriors 4. Are you guys getting audio? Hang on, are you getting audio? Yeah. Here it is. Go, ye children of the Yellow Turban. Where's the guy gonna say? Break the siege of the Yellow Turbans. Humble the rebels. Say it. I know you're gonna say it. The rebels. I played this level so much. I played this level. And the reason for that is that aside from it being just an easy level, this is one of the only stages in the game that has two HP and I'll just call it MP Muso power-up items in it. So it's just a really solid level for ranking up your characters. Ow, dude, stop. They're so good at staggering you in these early games. It's very frustrating. All right, where is it? Bam. Yeah, see, that guy's dead.
I defeated an officer.
Cool. I defeated an officer. Now, one thing that I kind of wish they had in this one that they introduced in... Wait, here we go. You flaming idiots! Take this! He drops rocks. There they are. There are the rocks. Oh my gosh, I played this so much. Yeah, something that they added for the next game, which I like, and I kind of wish it was the case with this one. They added in, like, what do you call it? Costumes. You know, people, like, I've heard many times that one of the highlights of Mario Party 2 is the presence of costumes, and I would argue that one of the highlights of Dynasty Warriors 4 is the presence of costumes. There's just something so fun about being able to personalize your character a little bit. Like, I pretty much bought every costume set that they put out for DW's 7 and 8, just because it was fun. I like changing my character's costumes. It's fun. I really enjoy it. And so I hate that this one doesn't have it, but hey, this is the one I decided to play. They also don't have the, what do you call them? The orbs in this game. So in DW4, they introduced like these elemental orbs that you can equip. Oh, it's Zhang Jiao, also known as Chinese Jesus.
I shall punish all
He's
those
basically
who
just
defy
supposed to look like
heaven's will.
Jesus. It's offensive to Christians, sure. Potentially offensive to Christians, sure, but I mean, there's no real getting around it. That's pretty much what he looks like. He's supposed to be like a religious leader. He doesn't wear shoes. He shoots. I guess Jesus didn't really shoot fire. He has like a beard. I mean, like in this one, in some of the later ones, it feels like they kind of like backed off on it a bit and made him, because like I think it's in Dynasty Warriors 5. He has like his head looks like a star. Like he's modeled his hair into like points, and he just sort of looks like a star. It's very strange. Zhang Jiao is sort of always a joke, really. Which is a shame, because if you actually read The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, he wasn't really a joke. I mean, he was a legitimate military leader. But for this, they were like, we need to make a character that's just kind of like a throwaway first level character, and so they just made Zhang Jiao. Anyway, yeah, so they have these like elemental orbs, and the elemental orbs expanded on something that shows up in this game, namely that the various final weapons for the characters have like elements associated with them. Yeah. The boss is dead, dudes. Get out of here. Ooh, weapon. I want a weapon. Yes, please. I want a weapon. Yes. Very good. There are two guys in this stage that can drop weapons. There's that guy, and then there's He Yi up here at the top. So we got to fight He Yi as well. But first, I should go and take care of Zhang Bao. Yeah, take care of Zhang Bao. Yeah, so like the final weapons in this game have this is why you want a horse, by the way. This like slow plodding walk where you can see my legs clipping through my skirt. Yeah. Look at Ma Chao's giant clomping boots though. Got some big old like Samurai Legend Musashi shoes over here. Anyway, yeah. The final weapons all have like an element associated with them. Like for example, Ma Chao's final weapon is fire elemental. So he can cause fire effects to happen when he uses a triangle attack, like a charge attack. And then there's some other characters like Dian Wei's weapon is lightning elemental. Who was that guy? What was that guy's name? Lu Xun, I think is his name. Lu Xun. His weapon is like poison elemental, which translates to it can sometimes just cause instant death, basically. Behold. Ah! Oh no, icy. Oh fudge. Oh no. Yeah, so the problem was though that you didn't really have a choice in the matter, you know? It's like you were kind of stuck with whatever your weapon was, and with some characters they didn't get an element at all. So it could be very frustrating.
Feel
Now
the
boulders have the power of might.
magic.
Magic! Of the ways. I know I'm talking over all of them. We're probably going to play this level several times tonight, so you'll get to hear it. If you care. Anyway, yeah, so like, there were some characters who were just stuck with nothing, and that's frustrating. So for Dynasty Warriors 4, they introduced like these like elemental orbs, which you could like level up on your own. Like when you found them, you could level them up and make them stronger. And anyone can equip any one of them as long as you have them. So, I'm about to break a boulder with a spear. Hang on, wait for it, 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 wait for it. Watch out, come on, you gotta do it. I'll break that spear. I'll break that rock with a spear.
They joined.
So, they joined. All these lines are so familiar to me. You're a better general than I have heard. Whee! Oh, here we go. Ah! I did that with a stick.
Magic is nothing to fear. Everyone, attack!
Hooray! What was I talking about? Yeah. So, I mean, like, I mentioned in the last stream that pretty much every Dynasty Warriors game just sort of gradually improved on the formula. And so it's kind of easy to, like, it's sort of like, what's that game? Animal Crossing, where, like, each new game, you know, kind of refine things, and like the individual games aren't that distinct from each other, except that it's kind of a slow progression of improvement. Oh, I'm an invincible hero, though. That's good now. Dynasty Warriors was kind of like that pretty much up until 7, and then 7 made a lot of changes, and then 9 came out, and 9 was horrible. In my opinion, Dynasty Warriors 9 sucks. Oh my gosh, it's so like, it's just different. It's just radically different from any of the ones before it. They changed like the Dynasty Warriors fighting system, which is pretty much what carried these games through the years. You know, it's like they had this really functional fighting system that they were like the series was known for. Then for DW9, they're like, nah, no more. We're gonna change it. We're gonna change it. We're gonna streamline things so you can get to the more boring parts of the game. I don't know. I'm not going to talk too much about DW9. Maybe I'll play DW9 at some point just to show off how much it sucks. But, anyway. Yeah, so, like, that's one of the things that makes it very difficult to go backwards in terms of Dynasty Warriors games, is that, well, they're just going to get worse as you go. Damn.
Defeated an officer.
Really wish I had a horse. Yeah, it's sort of an unfortunate circumstance, but I don't know. We'll play Dynasty Warriors 3, and maybe we'll change the other ones. The one that I probably have the least experience with is 6. 6 was the first one for the PS3, and it was not great. Also, like, there's a reason that Dynasty Warriors 7 was, at least among me and my friends, regarded as like the best one in a long time when it came out. They made changes that really improved, you know, the Dynasty Warriors formula, if you want to call it that. Really use a horse, though. Really use a horse. I'm slow. I'm very slow. All right, what are we doing? I'm gonna go get He Yi before he gets killed by someone else. Zhang Fei. Also, apologies if I don't speak Chinese well. I'm doing my best. Most of my knowledge of how to pronounce Chinese comes from Dynasty Warriors, actually. Like, for the longest time, the general of the Wei forces was called Cao Cao, because his name is spelled C-A-O-C-A-O. And then, again, in Dynasty Warriors 7, when they changed a lot of things, they also changed a lot of the pronunciation. And I'm inclined to believe they tried to make it more accurate to Chinese. And so he went from being called Cao Cao to Cao Cao.
When all else fails,
Watch him move.
attack.
Bagel, 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 bagel. Alright. There's He Yi. This guy's important. Ow, dude, stop. Bam. 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 Alright, gotta charge. Okay, now I do this. Gotta try and juggle him. Juggle, 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 juggle. Alright. Hopefully that was enough. Yeah, so like when I pronounce the names in this game, I usually use how they sounded in DW7. So if I get anything wrong, blame Dynasty Warriors 7. Don't blame me. Don't blame me. Blame Dynasty Warriors 7. It's not my fault. Man.
Don't get too hasty.
Don't get too hasty. We must wait for reinforcements. But yeah, no, DW6. I don't know. Like, I tried playing DW6 for a little while, and it's interesting to play Dynasty Warriors 6 after playing Dynasty Warriors 7 and 8, because you can really see how big of a departure Dynasty Warriors 7 was from 6. Like, all of those familiar... Oh, I should explain what's going on here. So, we want to get that. You see that pot up there? That, I think, is a life plus 10. I want that. So, yeah, this is the... This is the boring part. Y'all super stoked for the boring part? Because we're in it. It's just important to do this. You know, it's like every time you do it, you get a little bit stronger, and there's that many fewer times you have to do this. Bojang, what are you doing? Hey, Bojang. Bojang.
You are an invincible hero.
He's like, can I help you? Bonk. Ah. Oh, it was just an item. Items are lame. Items are lame. Well, they're not lame. They're useful, but unless they're like special items, like you might notice that when I use my Muso attack and like all fiery and stuff, that's abnormal. Normally, when you use your Muso attack, or normally you only get that fire effect from the what they call the true Muso. There's that word "true" being used. That is an aggressively overused word as far as Japanese popular media goes. But yeah, you normally only get that. But I have an item called the true way of the Muso, which I can't remember where I got it from. I think I got that from one of Xiahou Dun's levels, something like that. All right, I think you line up with this, I believe. I used a little mini map to try and figure this out. And then you jump. You jump. There we go. Here. Our
army?
They think they can pass our army. I don't know, Liu Bei. Can they? What was I saying? Yeah, so like there are a couple of items that are like special or unique items that you have to do like specific things to get. And then there are items that just random generals can drop. And pretty much if you're getting an item from like a... There's a guy down there. I'm gonna take out that guy real quick. If you're getting items from like just beating up regular generals, it's probably not gonna be anything good. Really?
We must fight well.
So. Oh, it's Zhang Cheng. Hello, I'm here. I've murdered 150 men this day. Are you proud of me? Are you proud of me, Dad? Cheng's like, I'm not your father. It's your boy, Ma Chao. Bonk. Bonk. He's just so proud of himself. I defeated an officer! Did you defeat an officer?
We
No,
must fight well.
I did. What now? Look at his little like portrait down there. He just looks like he's yelling. Actually, he kind of looks like he's like, dude, bro. What was I talking about? DW6. Yeah.
You
I don't know.
are an invincible hero.
Like, that was the game where they really went bonkers with some of like the character designs and some of the special weapons. Like a lot of characters in Dynasty Warriors use absolutely bizarre weapons. But then in DW6, I think what the thing was that they felt like the series was kind of waning, and they were trying to revive it by changing up the art style a little bit. And so a lot of the characters' costumes were weird. Like, if I remember correctly, in that game, MoeChicken didn't use a spear anymore. He used like a giant shuriken or something like that. I want to say that's the case. Let's see. All right, so our next one is, where is it? It's up. Where is it? Is it? It's even with like this wall, I think, right? This is just the stuff I learned from doing this so many times in the past. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so it lines up with this wall. Okay, so yeah, all right. Splendid. And I mean, you know, there's something to be said for changing up the art style to make things different. Like one of the major changes that they made for Dynasty Warriors 7 was that they tried to focus more on the actual romance of the Three Kingdoms, like the story. And so they started earlier and they also ended later. So in Dynasty Warriors like 2 through 6, they primarily focused on the conflict between Shu, Wu, and Wei, which was sort of like the middle to late period. Because like this is something that I learned from reading the book, like actually reading the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, is that a lot of the stuff that happens in these games was kind of like arranged in the games to make it fit historically, but actually a ton of the events that you see in this game as happening like concurrently actually happen like way far apart from each other. In particular, one thing is that Shu just didn't really form for a long time. Like, Wei got started super early. And I guess you could say that Wu had been around for a while, but they didn't really start trying to conquer until relatively far into it. Because like what wound up happening was, so I'm just giving you a history lesson now. There was a battle, the Battle of Hulao Gate, where an allied front tried to take down the tyrant Zhang Jiao, who had like taken control of the capital at Luoyang. I think it was at Luoyang. And this allied group included a large continent from Wei, or a large contingent from Wei, fairly big group from the Yuan family, and also a fairly big group from the from Wu, which was just kind of like a southern kingdom, I guess you could say. Like they pretty much kept to themselves. From what I understand, like they started out as pirates or something like that. Like they just kind of ruled the southwestern coast, and then kind of like they were like pirates, basically pirates. And so yeah, while and Wu was led by a man named Sun Jian. Like Wu was like basically a dynasty, a monarchy, or like a dynastic family. Like it's all family based. And what was I saying? Yeah, so Sun Jian was involved with this fight against Dong Jiao, and following like as they were like exploring the ruins of Luoyang, because Dong Jiao actually like fled Luoyang and then was captured and killed afterward. So he burnt Luoyang to the ground as he was fleeing, which was like a huge, terrible thing because it was like an ancient city that had never fallen at any point, and he just kind of set it on fire. He was a terrible dude. Dong Jiao, I mean, again, they may be sort of cartoonifying him, but he seems like he was a pretty awful dude. Anyway, while they were leaving, or while they were like going through the rubble and stuff like that, Sun Jian found the Imperial Seal, which was basically like the mark of the Emperor, just kind of in a well, hanging out in a well. And he was like, oh, this is like, in effect what that was this is what makes a person the Emperor. he just sort of found that in a well, and so he kind of like yoinked it and then just left. He's like, I'm gonna keep this, and then he just left and he went home. And that's sort of how, like, once he had that, he was sort of emboldened to be like, you know what, I think I do want to become the Emperor. I think I'll try and consolidate my power. And so they just started like building a more unified southwestern section under like a single rule, rather than just being like pirates. And anyway, all that to say, so that's what was going on with Wu. Wei was led by a man named Cao Cao, who had formerly been like a magistrate in the Han court. And why did he flee? He had to leave for some reason. I want to say he tried to assassinate Dong Jiao, because he realized that Dong Jiao was just taking, the all of China for himself. He was a terrible man, and so he was one of the only people that was willing to try and like defeat him, and it failed. It actually failed really by just happenstance, if I remember correctly. It was like really not accidental, but like very, very down to the wire. He almost did it, and so he had to leave. And so he went to the northeast of China, like around Korea and stuff, and started consolidating power up there. Worked with the Yuan family, who also owned like central China, and eventually built the kingdom of Wei. Here we go. Whee! I was like watching this. Look at me zip around. I'm eating all the enemies. Nom, 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 nom. What did I get? Did I get a new sword? Get a new spear? No. Ow. Doggone it. That's a pretty good one, actually. My current spear is awfully nice. Let's see. Musa max plus 13 bonus. Yeah, it's hard to beat. That HP max and reach is nice, but I'm gonna keep this one. Yeah. What did I get? Speed scroll. Boo. Boo. That's good. Alright, I'll take that. There's Ma Chao. Yay! I'm the left general! I'm the general on the left! You can tell. Mm-hmm. Cool. Alright. Let's see. Let's do another level. Free mode. What is this? Guan Yu's Escape is actually a pretty good one if you can survive it. I think this is the one where you get the true way of the Muso. I think that's where I got it from. Let's do Guan Yu's Escape. I'm gonna play as Guan Yu's versus you. Let's bring Sun Zhangjiang. Sun Zhangjiang. She got a new weapon the last time we were here, so that'll be good. That'll be useful. Yeah, it's just kind of like a long trek, and you see there are like dudes along the way. But you got it's also kind of like an escort mission. Like there's There's a carriage you have to protect. It's not too hard to protect if I remember correctly, but wow, reach +1. What a great new weapon. I hope I get something better than that. Through the way of the Muso, Tortoise Amulet, Speed Scroll, Luck. Those are all pretty good. I wanted to use my. Maybe I'll use the Peacock Urn. Yeah. Bodyguards. No. No bodyguards. All right, let's go. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, so what we think of as the Shu army was not even really an army at all. It was like 3 dudes. It was Guan Yu, Liu Bei, and Zhang Fei, who were just like 3 guys. Just like 3 dudes. I think originally Liu Bei was like I think he was a shoe salesman, something like that. And I know Zhang Fei was a butcher originally. I don't think Guan Yu had a job. I think he was just like a guy that had a big beard. And which is funny because I think of the 3, he's like the one that's most respected in China. Chinese people love their Guan Yu. But anyway. Yeah, so these 3 guys met up in like the northeast. Oh, there's Zhang He. Hey, Zhang He.
I defeated an officer.
And like this was when they were that's very useful. Very good now. They were preparing people to go out and fight the Yellow Turbans. And so basically they were just 3 guys that like they were like, we want to help China. It's like we want to do our civic duty. We're gonna join the army. And I was Guan Yu. Where's Zhang He? I lost him. There he is. Zhang He. And so they made like an oath in the peach garden. Like there was a peach garden out behind like a bar, and they're like, we're gonna make an oath here in the peach garden. And it was like a big deal in the story as being like the beginning of their great friendship. But yeah, they were just like 3 dudes, and they were like, these peaches are awesome, and we're drunk. Let's go join the army. And they did, and they joined the army. And they really kind of made their mark at the Battle of Sishui Gate, which was a fight like right. Also, I can tell you pretty much the whole history of this series because I've played these games so much.
We must
Yeah,
be
horse!
triumphant.
Hooray! The carriage is like, we must be triumphant. I'm a carriage. Let me through. 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 There we go. Okay, cool. I could really use some help. I am low on
Watch out! Be careful!
Can you guys give me some help? Yeah, so there was like this dude at Sishui Gate named Hua Xiong. And he was like well known for being like an incredible soldier, and they thought no one can beat Hua Xiong. And so like there was this huge problem because no one was willing to like fight this guy, and he was just basically standing in, like he had blocked off Sishui Gate, and he's like, no one can fight Hua Xiong, and everyone's like, you're right, no one can fight Hua Xiong. And so just nothing was happening, it's like things were stymied. And so like Guan Yu was just sort of like, I can fight Hua Xiong. And he did, and he beat him. He beat Hua Xiong. And it was like, it just kind of came out of nowhere, because like these 3 guys were just kind of like volunteers. Like they had joined up with the Wei army at that point. And they were just nobodies. They came from like the boonies. One of them was a shoemaker. Just out of nowhere, this dude with a huge beard who was like a professional beard haver beat this like super important dude. And so that was sort of when the idea of Shu started happening. But they actually didn't even begin calling themselves Shu until like way late in the story. Like it didn't actually happen that, because like Liu Bei was a really like, he was always represented as an extremely humble dude who like when he joined the army to like try and save China, he really did just think he was doing his civic duty. Was basically it. Like he wasn't trying to get glory, he wasn't doing anything like that. He was just sort of like, yeah, of course I'm going to join the army to protect my country. Why wouldn't I? And
I defeated an officer.
And defense +4, yes, awesome. What was it? There we go. And so like, even though people kept trying to get, they were like, hey, do you want to be like our leader? Do you want to be our king? You want to be our king? We want you to be our king. He's like, no, I'm not a king. And what's especially funny about it is like, even people around him knew that he probably should be a king. Like, Cao Cao kept trying to either recruit and or kill him, because he's like, this guy's gonna be trouble if I let him stay alive and or not like rein him in. And it just kept kind of not happening. But yeah, they didn't start calling themselves Shu until like
Is this how you repay Lord Cao Cao?
Is that your voice, Xiaowen?
Is this how you repay Lord Cao Cao?
Yeah, I do.
I will strike you down.
Xiao Yuan. Let me get out of there. There we go. But anyway, so when they made Dynasty Warriors 7, they tried to like match the timing better and make it more connected to the story. And I think that was a large part of what I really liked, because I like plot and history and stuff like that. I think that's interesting. And so it was really exciting for me to like find out about how all this stuff went down. I thought it was really cool. They also introduced the Jin storyline, because in these earlier games, like I said, it was just sort of the three armies. It was Wu, Wei, and Shu. And yeah, apparently like it looks like it's supposed to be Wu, but apparently you're just supposed to say Wu. It's really funny in like Dynasty Warriors 9, because whenever you would win a fight as Sun Jian, he'd be like, I dedicate this glory to the kingdom of Wu. It just sounds real silly. The kingdom of Wu. Ooh, what an amazing kingdom! Ooh. Anyway, yeah, before it was just the three, and then since they decided they wanted to be a little bit more accurate to, the book, they introduced the concept of the Jin storyline, and Jin is sort of what Wei turned into after Cao Cao died. So Cao Cao died, and after like a brief, this is why I hate archers in this game. I basically just tried to sonic boom them, and they were like, I don't want any part of that. They just ran away. They're like, no, we're done. It's fine. We'll just leave. Yeah, so like after like a brief battle for succession where his son Cao Pi tried to be like the cool guy, and no one wanted Cao Pi to be the cool guy. No one liked Cao Pi. What do you call him? The strategist for Wei took over. A man named Sima Yi took over, and he's like, I'm in charge now. And to mark that he was different, so to speak, he decided to start calling the kingdom Jin. And actually, there were a fair number of fights between Wei and Jin. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, I find it very interesting, and if you've ever played Dynasty Warriors and you wanted to know more about like the history, I actually do recommend reading the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Like, it's long. It's a very long book. It's like 1,000 pages or something. I mean, that's a big book for me. I don't usually read books that are quite that long. Oh, don't kill me. Get up. Okay. Don't kill me. But it is interesting. It was interesting to learn a lot of that history that I didn't know about. So, I think that's cool. I think it's cool. Guan Yu, I could use some food. Do you know where any Nikuman are? Or Bings and Baos? I forgot to look up which one's a Bing. Oh, there's food! Oh, don't fade away! No! No! Okay, good. Well, kind of good. Kind of useful. You know what would be nice? A horse would be nice. A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse! Maybe? Guan Yu's just riding around on red hair over there. Not a big deal. Bet you there's gonna be an ambush here. Rain. I know at some point we start getting chased by someone. What does that happen? Zuju.
You shall not pass.
Zuju was sort of an interesting character too. One of the things that did stand out to me about when I read the book Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Is he chasing us now? Let's see. No. Is that they actually did capture the personalities of a lot of these characters pretty well, all told. I mean, they kind of boiled them down to very like simplistic characteristics, but yeah, it's pretty accurate to the book in a lot of ways. Which is surprising. I would have expected them to have deviated pretty strongly from the book, but that's reasonably accurate. It's said that he's fighting Zuju. Where is he? Oh. I require your presence for a time. Thank you, Lidian.
If you won't come back, then I must kill you.
Okay.
We do what we must. Come. You shall not pass.
Where's Lidian? It's not that I'm fighting him, but I don't see him anywhere.
I eat guys like you for breakfast.
I'm a woman, sir. Please, I'm a woman.
We must be triumphant.
I need some food. There's some food. Man, I sound like a bird when I take a hit. So in later games, like one of the funny things about the Dynasty Warriors games is that like for each subsequent game, they would usually add a couple of the characters, you know? Like they would add new characters, and they couldn't just invent new people, so they would just kind of have to like make characters who were once like ordinary generals into important generals. And so it's really funny to play this game and see all these characters that I know eventually become like playable characters in their non-playable character status. Because like in Lidian, for example, is a character that winds up being a playable character later on. Random dudes start beating me up. Oh, I could use some help. Use some help.
I defeated an
Gotcha.
officer.
Yeah, Lidian. So Lidian actually has like a terrible weapon in later games. Like his weapon is so dumb. It's like they call it a wheeled halberd, and it's a large spiked wheel that's just kind of attached to a stick. It's like a giant pizza cutter, would be the best way to describe it. But it's not cool. Because, like, giant pizza cutter kind of sounds cool. This isn't cool.
Hey,
this is lame and
isn't
dumb.
that- Guan Yu! Brother! I have finally returned!
Hooray! Meow, 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 meow. Meanwhile, she's standing in the thunderstorm. It's fine. Cool. Got anything cool? Ooh, speed +3. Yes, please. Ooh, but that... Well, mounted defense is kind of nice. We're gonna keep the speed +3. Speed is necessary. We want luck. Luck, please. Alright, really good. Speed scroll, boo. Ooh, wind scroll. Very nice. No. Bleh. Bleh. Alright, well, a little bit stronger. The problem with that level, though, honestly, is that it, most of what I was getting were specialty items and not like, not stat boosts. I kind of need stat boosts. Fawn Castle? What is this? Here's a little interesting side note. I'm playing as Zhang Jiao on the Shu forces, and that actually fits because she married Liu Bei. So she actually is a part of the Shu forces. There you go. Let's see. Fawn Castle, equipment. Yes. Very good. Item. Musa, Peacock Urn, Speed Scroll. Okay. Bodyguards! No! No bodyguards! No! I guess as I play these, I can give you all a little bit of background about what's going on, because I'm just going from like battle to battle, but so the battle at Fawn Castle, is this the one? I think this is the one where yeah.
Father, we are ready.
Father, we are ready.
Excellent work, young Ping.
That's also a guy who eventually
Well, now
became a
we
named
just need to
character.
wait for the water. We will flood the castle and clean out the enemy forces.
So pretty much exactly what he said.
Sima Yi, let's go.
This battle was interesting in that, like, they decided to, like, Shu was trying to take down this castle, Fawn Castle, which was being guarded by Cao Ren. And Cao Ren was like a man that he was known for being a very solid commander as far as like defensive campaigns were. So they had no success. They were having no success taking this castle. And so they came up with this interesting idea to like flood the castle. So they like sealed off the entrances and then waited for like a rainstorm. And I think they also diverted a river, maybe? They basically were just trying to like flood this castle. And it almost worked. I want to say they failed in the end, and I think the reason they failed, I want to say, Wu showed up and like saved Wei at the last minute, and that caused bad blood. Who am I looking for? I'm looking for people. Where are the bad guys? There's Sui Yi, Cao Ren, Zhu Huang, Peng De. All right, so I'm gonna have to go down, I think. All right, let's go down. Yeah, that kind of started the bad blood between Wu and Shu, because like I said, like, wait, that's Cao Ren? Oh, he's lame looking in this game. He becomes like this huge beefy dude in later games, but in this one he kind of sucks. By the way, Cao Ren is Cao Cao's cousin, if I remember correctly. Yeah, like Zhang Jiao was was Liu Bei's wife, but like she went to live with Shu, and her brother Sun Chuan started
Too far out. Be careful.
I am I really?
I
doesn't feel like I'm that far out.
defeated an officer.
I guess I should go back. I mean, look where I am. I'm not too far out. Why do you say I'm too far out? Yeah, like Sun Quan started trying to like consolidate power, and he wanted to basically rule the south. Because he had the southwest, you know, that Wu had like consolidated all their territories. They had the southwest, but kind of like I said before, nobody could figure out what to do about Liu Bei because people just kept flocking to him. It's like no matter what they did, they just couldn't get rid of Liu Bei. People just kept going down there and joining Liu Bei, and so they were concerned that they were going to get wiped out. And Liu Bei, I can't remember how it happened, but he had like an old what do you call it? Claim to like a region in central China that Wu really wanted. They wanted this section of land, and like Guan Yu had been set in charge of guarding this one particular section of land, and they couldn't beat him. Numerous camp. I'm gonna die. Yep, I lost. That level's too hard for me right now, I think. Blah. Numerous campaigns. They couldn't beat him. They couldn't beat him. It was driving them crazy. No one could beat Guan Yu. Too important. Beard is too fabulous. Cannot beat him. Let's see. Let's do another Yellow Turban Rebellion. We have to do the Yellow Turban Rebellion a lot. That's an important level. No, not Zhao Yun. I don't want Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun sucks. I don't like Zhao Yun at all. What was I talking about? The bodyguard's off. Yeah, Guan Yu was just like a huge pain in the butt for everybody. Like for Wu. Like Wu couldn't deal with him. Wei couldn't deal with him. Nobody could deal with him. They just kept having trouble with Guan Yu. And it actually got to the point that like how do I put this? You saw that level just a minute ago that was like Guan Yu's escape. So what that was about, following one battle, what was it? Was it? I think it may have been Hulao Gate. Guan Yu, no, it wasn't Hulao Gate. It was what was it? Not Wuzhang. It was the fight against the army of Yuan Shao. I can't remember what that was. Anyway, Guan Yu got separated, and you know he was the one that had made such a big stink during the fight where he beat like Hua Jiang, and so Cao Cao, who was a man who believed in like he was very pragmatic, and he was like he didn't really care where a person came from. If they were talented, he wanted them on his side. So he would like, you know, like he would, if he saw like a great general and he could capture them alive, he'd then be like, well, do you want to fight for me? And so basically that's what wound up happening with Guan Yu. He's just like, hey, you're pretty cool, right? Do you want to work for me? And Guan Yu was like, okay, but only until I find my brother. Because he really wanted to meet back up with Liu Bei and Zhang Fei. And so he's like, okay, but just for the time being, then I gotta meet up with my brothers again. We're gonna go eat pizza after this. We're gonna go get drunk at the Peach Garden. So, just for a little while. And so for like a couple of years, Guan Yu just worked for Cao Cao. And then, I don't remember what caused it to happen, but he decided, great. He like I think he found out that where Liu Bei and Zhang Fei were, and so he's like, well, I'm leaving now. And Cao Cao tried as best as he could. Like it was pretty much just like that level. He had 5 gates, and he sent several of his best generals to stop him, and they were all just like, we want you to stay, Guan Yu. You're so cool. We love your beard. And he's like, no, no, no. No, no, no. And so he tried to escape. And apparently that event haunted Cao Cao for many years. And sometime later, during the Battle of Chebi, which was like a naval battle, which was absolutely catastrophic for the Wei forces. Absolute tragedy. Or it was just they really messed it up. It was a mess. Cao Cao was like fleeing on his own. Like he was just straight out running. It was not an organized retreat. He was running for his life from the combined forces of Shu and Wu, who were basically trying to stomp out the head of Wei. They were like, if we can kill Cao Cao, Wei will be gone. And so Cao Cao was just like, I'm out of here. This is terrifying. I gotta go. Peace out, y'all. And apparently what wound up happening was that Cao Cao almost made it away, and then Guan Yu caught up with him, and Cao Cao was like, oh no, I can't beat Guan Yu. What do I do? And Guan Yu said, as thanks for taking care of me, I'll let you go. But after this, I owe you nothing. And so he let him go. He actually let Cao Cao get away, and as a result, Cao Cao survived. But the event so shook Cao Cao that for the rest of his life, he just kept looking over his shoulder for the day that Guan Yu was gonna show up and kill him. He's just like, no, I'm living on borrowed time. Guan Yu's gonna kill me at some point. And so it drove Cao Cao crazy that he couldn't kill Guan Yu. He kept sending wave after wave of dudes to try and take that one little region that Guan Yu was supposed to protect, and it just never happened. And in the end, it took a combined effort of Wu and Wei to take down Guan Yu, and even then, it was still a mess. Now, admittedly, this is a story, so I'm sure they embellished it a little bit, but it was and that was the point at which Wu sided with Wei to kill Liu Bei's sworn brother Guan Yu, was when Liu Bei was like, no more. There's no alliance. There's no getting along. And that's actually when Liu Bei started referring to himself as being the leader of the kingdom of Shu, or the emperor of Shu, I think is what he called himself. Because he was like, no, we're gonna take him down. We're gonna kill these Wu jerks. They're going down. We're gonna beat them up. We're gonna make them cry. We're gonna spit in their eyes. What else do people say when they're trying to be tough? I feel like Liu Bei would be about as good at tough talk as I am, but well, it's interesting. It's a very interesting story. What the heck? Oh, the rocks, right? Rocks. My controller started vibrating and I didn't know why. It says the rocks are still falling over there. All right, turn. All right, turn. Come on. All right, there are the rocks. There they go. So they joined. Yeah. Hold on. Give me my camera back. There we go. Got it. What sucks is if you do mess this up, If you land in the wrong place, you have to walk all the way back and do it again. That's why it's so frustrating to deal with. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an interesting read. And, like, if you want to kind of get an inkling of if you will be interested in it at all, I'd say play through the story mode of Dynasty Warriors 7. Because it actually does a pretty decent job of giving you the story. Like, one of the things about the earlier Dynasty Warriors games is that they kind of like invented their own history where whoever you played as supposedly won in the end. You know, it's like all of the most important fights your group showed up at, whether or not that actually happened in the story. So like, you know, at what was the place called? What was the place called? Not Zicheng. Oh, is it Zuchang? Might be Zuchang. Yeah, like all these like really important fights that definitely happened during the Jin era. They're like, oh yeah, Shu was still around for that. Why not, right? So what are you gonna do? But then in Dynasty Warriors 7, they were a bit more reasonable about when things happen. So like, you know, people died when they were supposed to. People died when they were supposed to in that one. And I don't know, I think it's interesting. Talked a lot about the history of this series and this, or the history of the fights that this game is about. But another thing is I really don't know much about the actual history. Like, I'm inclined to believe that what we know of as the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which is a book, it is a novel, is based on history and is an embellished version of history. That's my interpretation. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. But that's what I think happened.
Take heart.
Ha! Whoop. I did it.
Do not fear this magic. Everyone, attack!
Ha! Look at my duck hooks. I think that's what you call these weapons she's using. Like, they're described as chakram in this game, but I think these are actually duck hooks.
We will show the world the strength of our army.
You ready to go? Here we go.
I defeated an officer.
I defeat. Her voice is really silly in this game. I defeated an officer. Kill. See, is He still alive? Oh, good, he is. Okay.
We will show the world the strength of our army.
There's Sun Jian. That's my daddy.
Too far out. Be careful.
Too far out. Be careful. Man, some of these vocal clips, like these lines are so very nostalgic for me.
We must fight well.
I just heard them so much. So much. Because, like, truth be told, I actually did start out playing Dynasty Warriors 2. But me and my friend down the street who I played this with, we started playing DW2 pretty much right when DW3 came out. And so as soon as DW3 came out, it was like the new hotness. And we're like, oh, we want to play this one. It's new.
You're a better general than I've heard.
You're a better general than I have heard. Thank you. That's important if Cao Cao says that, because it probably means he's going to headhunt you. Both literally and figuratively. If he can't get you to join him, he'll just kill you.
Get behind.
Pretty much how he works. So, in unrelated news.
I defeated an
Well,
officer.
moderately related news this one. Who out there has background with this game? Have you played the Dynasty
We
Warriors
must
game?
fight well.
Have you played a Warriors game? Because there's like a lot of them nowadays. Like, for a long time it was just Dynasty Warriors, and now there's a Warriors game for every flavor. They're a what do you call it? they're an IP you like, there's probably a Warriors game for it nowadays. But yeah, like, did you play the Dynasty Warriors games? Curious if you did. I mean, these games are massive time sinks. There's no getting past that. Like, because I mean, like, the actual gameplay doesn't change too much, you know? And I think maybe that's part of why Dynasty Warriors 9 tried to change things up. Was because, like Dynasty Warriors 9 added in a lot of stuff that's kind of, like,
an officer.
weird. Like, they added in a lot of, like, first of all, it has an open world. So, like, unlike all the other Dynasty Warriors games where, you know, you just go from battlefield to battlefield, in Dynasty Warriors 9, you could actually go anywhere you want in China. Which is cool. It's interesting. It's an unusual thing. Is there... Hang on. Unit info. Okay. Yep, let's go get Hei. But the problem is, and I think that's part of the reason why they changed the fighting system. They made it more streamlined, so that I think the idea was that you would have to spend less time on individual fights. But they kind of streamlined it too much, to the point where it just didn't, like, I remember there's a function where you could, like, run up and, like, knock 20 dudes up in the air for no reason. You know, it's like you can just juggle 20 people at a time. And I'm like,
they can pass our army?
No. It's just frustrating. I don't know. It's not good. I really don't like Dynasty Warriors 9 very much. And then they also added, like synthesizing, so you can make, like, medicine and, like, fish. They, like, added in all these open world style things that were just kind of, like, not, like, it sort of felt like they were just trying to tick off boxes, really. They're just sort of like, we want an open world game, so we need a crafting system, and we need fishing, and we need hunting, and we need to be able to, like, you know, you need to have a home base that you can build up. All these, like, really standard, like, open worldy sort of things that didn't really fit. It's just a game full of, like, things that don't quite work in a lot of ways. With things that are just sort of like, why is this here? Like, there's a whole mechanic where you can, like I said, you can have, like, a home base, and you can invite people to come and stay at your house, and all it does is kind of let you see them in their, like, not battle attire, which is cool. Like I said earlier, I like costumes. But I just remember thinking it was weird. I could just be like, I want to send out a letter and invite my friends over. That's some intense slowdown we're getting right here. Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that chug. Holy moly. I don't know. And it is true that there was a lot of culture shock for me when I first played Dynasty Warriors 9, because I've been really excited about it coming out. I wanted to believe that the open world thing was going to be cool, and then it wasn't cool, and so it was very disappointing for me. So maybe if I played it again, I would like it more. But I was definitely not impressed upon my first playthrough. There you go. Ooh. But I don't know. Again, I'm curious if other people have played this. It's such a big name that I have to assume people have probably played a Dynasty Warriors game, but if so, I wonder which one. You know, did you play one of the ones like Hyrule Warriors, or like One Piece Pirate Warriors, or like Persona Strikers, or did you actually stick to, like, the Dynasty Warriors game, or did you play the Samurai Warriors games? What'd you play? I'm curious. Tell me. By all means, tell me. I'm curious.
Don't fall behind.
Don't fall behind. Hedge in. Ow. Yeah. Who did that? Which one of you many people did that? Your brown costumes, your yellow turbans. No one actually wears a turban, or what I think of as a turban. They're all wearing yellow headbands. And apparently that's what the Yellow Turban Rebellion was about. They just kind of wore, like, yellow headbands on their heads. That was it. They called them turbans. I'm guessing because there's some Chinese word that translates in English to turban that was used. I don't know. I don't know why they're called yellow turbans. They're not wearing turbans. I think of a turban, I think of like Indian or Arabian, not a headband. It's the Grand Master, Zhang Jiao. He sucks. He does make funny noises when you hit him, though. That is true. He also shoots fire at times, which can be very inconvenient. Another funny thing about this game is that, like, I think this is the last Dynasty Warriors game where they used the Japanese vocal clips for the battle, and then the English vocal clips for everything else. Like, I think after this one, they recorded English lines for, like, everything. And it's really funny because, like, a lot of the characters' voices don't match. Like, think about what Sun Changyong sounds like whenever she says, like, I defeated an officer. And then she's like, yap, 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 yap. No offense to her Japanese voice actors. It's just very different. Stop. Wake up. All right, where's Zhang Jiao? Where'd he go? I lost him. There he is. Hey there. But, you know, when I was a kid, I didn't know anything but Japanese. I didn't know how it was supposed to sound. And so me and my friend who played this, we would just try to make up what we thought the characters were saying. Anything cool? Huh? No. Luck's better. Boo. Boo. Whoa! You're a better general than I had heard. Ooh. Alright, let's try an actual level with her again. Back to Underside mode. Load game. We were in Chubby. Make sure to turn off my bodyguards because they will just get themselves killed. There we go. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, and so like my friend up the street was a big fan of the Auburn, like the college, Auburn University, their football team. And if you don't know anything about Auburn, their like rallying cry is War Eagle. And he noticed early on that Guan Yu says something when he uses this Muso attack that sounds very much like War Eagle. But guess who he always played as? Every time he'd play as Guan Yu and just yell War Eagle every time. War Eagle! Maybe I'll play as Guan Yu a little bit so you can hear it. Oh, there's you.
I shall put an end to this.
Oh good, the game didn't freeze this time. That's helpful. War Eagle! So Zhao Duan is an interesting character. He is one of Cao Cao's most like closest allies. I think he actually helped Cao Cao when he was trying to escape from Luoyang after following the failed assassination of Cao Cao, or of Dong Zhuo. And Zhao Duan famously wears an eye patch because during a fight, during like one of the conflicts, I can't remember which, I think it was during think it was during Hulao Gate, he was struck in the eye with an arrow. And rather than being like, ah, my eye, someone just shot my freaking eye with an arrow, I'm gonna take 5 minutes. He was just like, nah, bro, I got this. He pulled out the arrow with his eyeball on it and then ate his eyeball. His rationale being, my beloved parents gave me this eyeball. I can't allow it to be destroyed like this, so I'll eat it. So he's a tough guy. Tough guy who ate his own eyeball. This is what I mean when I say the story's kind of apocryphal in a lot of ways. They got a lot of... They embellished things a bit for the novel, but it's fun. You know? Like stories about a dude eating his own eyeball. Oh my goodness. There's so many stories like that in the books too. Like one of the funniest things early on in the story is the description of Liu Bei, because for whatever reason Liu Bei, like, when they talk about him, he sounds like a monster. Like the various characteristics they attribute to him are bizarre. Like they say that his eyes stuck out too far so that he could see, kind of like he had like better peripheral vision than most people because his eyes bugged out. And he had abnormally long earlobes, which I guess was like a
Eastern wind. Zhuge Liang. He's a devil.
He is a devil. What else was weird about him? I think his skin was supposed to be extremely pale, like almost see-through. Just like it's so weird how they describe Liu Bei, because like it's all supposed to be positive things. Like I guess maybe to a Chinese audience of the time period, like these are like positive descriptors, but to me, it sounds like they're describing a monster. It's kind of like in Celtic mythology, like in the, I think it was the Ulster Chronicle, maybe the Ulster Cycle. It's the one with Cuchulainn. Okay, I guess I'll back up. Cuchulainn, if you don't know, is a famous Celtic hero who was known for being basically unstoppable in battle. He would undergo what they described as the warp spasm, which would transform him into like an unstoppable warrior. But when you hear it described, he sounds like a monster dude. Like, it's so bizarre how, like, I guess the author's only intent was to convey that he's powerful. And so it doesn't matter about the fact that, like, he sounds like a monster. Like, what are some of the things? They talk about, like, his knees reversing so that he walks like a chicken. So, like, his legs bend backwards. What was another one? I think his jaw extends. One of his eyes pops out and dangles from his face, and the other one, like, recedes into his face really deeply. Like, all these really horrible, monstrous things would happen to Cuchulainn when he transformed, but just nobody could beat him. I guess if you're on his side, you're like, boy, I'm sure glad we got this terrifying monster on our side to win the day. Ooh, boy. And I think maybe the same thing was true of, like, Liu Bei, was that to the original audience who read it, all of these traits, like having long earlobes and having bug eyes, were like, oh, what a noble man. You know, it's like, oh, yes, I want to follow that man with his long earlobes. The earlobes thing was the funniest part to me, that they insisted on describing him as having long earlobes. But, and then, like, with Guan Yu's most striking characteristic was his beard, but supposedly he also had like red skin. His skin was very red. And I think part of that is, I've heard that in China, the color red is associated with like happiness and joy, maybe? Something like that. And so, you know, having a guy whose skin is red would be like a suspicious thing, not just a sunburn. And then Zhang Fei's only primary characteristic was that he was drunk and ate lots of meat. Pretty much it. Zhang Fei always kind of got the short end of the stick, in my opinion. Like, he was always there. He was important, but definitely sort of like the least important of the three. They're like, yeah, Guan Yu with his mighty beard and stalwart personality. He could never be shaken, and he was always a noble individual. And Liu Bei, what a wonderful leader who cared deeply for his men. And Zhang Fei got drunk. Zhang Fei was there too, and he was drinking. That's actually how he died. Some men like paid off some of his soldiers to kill him while he was drunk, and they did. They just waited until he was drunk, and they cut off his head, which was a real bummer for Liu Bei, because that happened like immediately after the Guan Yu thing. Like the news from about Guan Yu came in, and Liu Bei was like, "Oh no, my brother!" And then like another dude came in, he's like, "Also, Zhang Fei's dead." And Liu Bei's like, "Who? Oh, Fei, right? I forgot about him because I was busy worrying about Guan Yu." That's not true, actually. Liu Bei in the stories was, you know, he showed no favoritism between his two sworn brothers. He was a very honorable man. That's why he got so pissed when his brothers were killed by Wu. Real mad about it. I don't know, I like this stuff. That's my brother, Sun Quan, the Wolf King. That's my call. I call him the Wolf King. Oh no, these boats are on fire!
Show you! You are a fool to mock me!
Says you, your boat's on fire, dude. Zhou Yu, you were a fool to mock me and light my boats on fire. Why you do this? Why you do?
I defeated an officer.
So I guess I could talk a little bit about Chibi, since that seems to be all I'm doing tonight is just telling you guys about Dynasty Warriors stuff. I know a lot about it, okay? Very familiar with this series. Chibi is the fight we're in right now. And it was an example, it was a catastrophic failure on behalf of Wei, and it kind of killed their momentum, because like before Chibi, it was seeming like Wei was gonna win. Like they had taken over all the north, most of the east, and they had all the money, they had all the power, they had the capital, and it seemed like they were gonna win. And so they were trying to consolidate power, and they're like, okay, well, we're gonna go take out Shu and Wu, and what we'll do is we will just send a huge navy. We'll just spend all our money, send a big old navy right down the Jiang River, and just kill everybody. And it'll be awesome, and then we'll have all of China. Well, as I mentioned earlier, Wu they were pirates. They knew all about boats. They had lived in boats for years. You know, they knew all about boats. And so it was the height of ridiculousness for Wei to just be like, yeah, we don't know anything about boats. Because like Wei, you know, like northern China didn't have like waterways. Wei was primarily from like the northeast, which is mountainous. Like mountains and plains. They didn't know anything about boats. They just bought a bunch of boats and thought that was going to be good enough. And so, they came up with was the strategist of Shu, a man named Zhuge Liang, who is well known. Like, even if you don't know anything about Dynasty Warriors, you might have heard the name Zhuge Liang. Zhuge Liang he was described as like the sleeping dragon and like the smartest, like the brightest the brightest under heaven and stuff like that. He was just like a genius. He was just an amazing tactical genius, and he did so many like clever and bizarre things that no one could keep up with him. And what he did in this instance, he's like, and he'd be like really secretive about it. Like when the story started, he was like a hermit. Like, he lived in the mountains, and like he was like spoken of in legend at that point. And Liu Bei had to like go and visit his house 3 times before he would talk to him, because he wanted nothing to do with the world. And Liu Bei's like, "No, bro, be my strategist. I'll come back tomorrow, and then you can be my strategist." So Zhuge Liang wanted to create what he called the the 3 kingdoms model. Namely, it would be a kingdom, or like he wanted a China that was divided among 3 kingdoms: Shu in the southwest, Wei in the north, and Wu in the southeast. And doing so would create a scenario where basically all 3 had to support each other, so that and like balance would happen, because the 3 had to, like, you know, balance their interests against each other. And he felt like it was the most stable arrangement. Like, I think he described it as with 3 legs a stool can stand, with only 2 it cannot. And so he wanted to have a situation where like all 3 kingdoms had equal power. And so when this Battle of Chibi thing happened, he's like, okay, why don't we work with Wu to repel this, to protect the kingdom of Wu, to make sure Wu is allowed to stay and that Wei doesn't take it over. We'll combine forces and stop Wei. And so they decided on this like strategy of Chibi, where they would cause a fire attack, because again, you know, Wei didn't know what they were doing in terms of boats. They didn't know that there were potential dangers.
Reinforcements, press the attack.
Do it! Press the attack! They didn't know that there was like, there would be dangers to having too many ships on a river. No, of course not. They just have lots of ships and it'd be fine.
We still have the upper hand.
And so, the whole idea behind the fire attack thing was that they would first create a scenario where the Wei ships couldn't move, and then they would use southwest winds, or rather winds blowing from the southeasterly winds, to carry fire arrows onto the Wei ships. And the Wei ships, being like trapped together in a small place, would just burn, and wouldn't matter. Like, they would actually be damaged by the fact that they had too many people or too many ships. And it was a great success. It was a tremendous success. It cost Wei a lot. It was one of those things that kind of like shook the invincible feelings that Wei had. Like, Wei was thinking, it's like, oh yeah, we can't be beaten. We're so big. We're so awesome. We have all the money. And then like these 2 little kingdoms from the south just trounced them just by being clever, just by being smart. They trounced them. So that's what Chibi is about. And so right now we're on the burning ships of Wei. And I could go kill Cao Cao, but I still want to kill more dudes. I gotta get all their other people first. Is this interesting to y'all? Me playing Dynasty Warriors and just talking about Dynasty Warriors? There's so much that you can talk about with these games in terms of like the lore and such. And I like that. I think that's interesting. But Again, the gameplay is mostly a time sink, but a fun time sink. And it does seem like this PS2 is doing a better job of holding it together than the other one I was using. So that's good. She has smaller shoes than MoeChicken did. MoeChicken had some big old boots. Them big boots. Big stomping boots. Oh. Still, one of the power-ups they added in Dynasty Warriors 4 was the speed times 2 for 30 seconds. I like the speed times 2 for 30 seconds. It's very helpful. Very, very helpful. Another thing they did was they allowed you to always start on a horse, which is nice. Having a horse from the start, very helpful. I think that was also the game where they introduced the idea of being able to call your horse, which is another very helpful thing. Ow. Stop. Dude, ow. Stop. Ah! Over here now. Get up. Alright, you Asian. You Asian. You Asian. You Asian.
I defeated an officer.
I did. Bah. So in terms of the 4 stats of HP, Muso, attack, and defense, usually defense is the first one you're going to level up all the way.
Be careful.
Just because, like, every time you defeat a gate, you always get a defense +1 at least. If you're good, if you're careful about juggling, you can get a defense +2 every time you do it. So it's very easy to raise defense. That was something they did away with in later games, I think. That the gates would always drop a defense +1. Is there someone down here? No, there's not. No, not that. He has lots of dudes. Jiazu, that's another one that became a playable character. He kind of became like a gypsy. He sort of looks like a gypsy. He's got like a big bandana on, and like he wears, I don't know, gypsy clothes. Is that a slur? Is gypsy a slur? I'm sorry if it is. I don't really know. I don't know. So apologies if it is, but I certainly don't mean it in a negative way. I've heard that the term, like, what a gyp, is a reference to a gypsy and is considered a slur. So I've tried to remove that from my lexicon, but I don't know if just the term gypsy is a slur. But if it is, apologies. I don't mean to offend. Jin. What are these guys doing? They're doing a crazy little shuffle dance. Shaka, 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 shaka. Shaka, 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 shaka. I gotta find more dudes to kill. Like, named dudes. I need more treasure. You guys know me. I love my treasure. I want more treasures. Again, I'm happy that this PS2 is working, because, like, if it didn't work, I was just gonna play more Ransom Saga 3, because I would have to go and, like, get another PS2. Because, like, this is the third or fourth PS2 I've tried. So I would have to go and, like, see if I can find one of my local game stores, but it looks like this one's working. I was concerned, though, because I think this is one that I got at the flea market. And I say that because I noticed that some of the contacts were a little rusty. Like the what do you call it? Like the port for the composite. The composite or component? I think it's composite cable. Was like a little rusty. So.
You're even
I always
than
really
they
like
say.
Zhang Liao's costume. Zhang Liao's that's Zhang Liao. He's one of my favorite characters. I like Zhang Liao a lot. He was an interesting character too because like he was he first gained prominence as a subordinate to the famous General Lu Bu, who was supposedly the strongest man in China. And Lu Bu was always presented as a man that's almost insanely obsessed with the concept of strength. He wanted to be the strongest. He wanted everyone to know he was the strongest. He always wanted to prove how strong he was. He didn't care about anyone who wasn't strong. And it caused a lot of problems for him because this single-minded devotion to strength just kind of like, I don't know, prevented him from having any form of like guile or anything like that. So like when he tried to just make his own nation just because he was strong, yeah, well, people didn't run and follow him. And like when push came to shove, they didn't care. They were like, I don't want to follow this guy. He's just an angry dude. That's boring. All right, I gotta find more dudes to kill. But Zhang Li, so like when basically what wound up happening was that a unified front, including Liu Bei and Cao Cao, defeated Lu Bu, and Lu Bu was just sort of like, hey, I hear you like for anybody to work for you that's strong. I'm strong. I could work for you. And Cao Cao was just sort of like, nah, brah. You wind up killing everyone that you work for. I'm just gonna kill you. And at the same time, he had captured Zhang Liao, and he's like, what about you? Are you gonna beg for your life? And Zhang Liao's like, no, I'm not gonna beg for my life. I fought on the wrong side. You beat me. You win. And Cao Cao's like, huh, you want to fight for me? And so apparently that passed the mustard. Cao Cao was like, you're pretty cool. All right, you can fight for me. And so Zhang Liao was allowed to continue as one of Cao Cao's soldiers. So. I don't know. It's interesting. I especially like the stories of like young Cao Cao, because like Cao Cao was older, I think, than Sun Jian and Liu Bei, or at the very least, he got into the story soon. Like hearing about his early exploits was very interesting, I think. Like back during the Dongzhuo era, stuff like that. I do recommend reading Romance of the Three Kingdoms if this sort of stuff interests you, because I don't know, it's cool. It's cool to learn about.
You thought you could get by us?
Oh, Sun Quan, you and your archers. That's kind of the biggest thing I associate with Sun Quan in DW3, is that he's the guy with the dumb hat who summons all of the archers in the world. And archers are a pain in this game, so I hate him for it. I actually didn't start liking Sun Quan until, I think DW8, actually. Until, like, we finally got to know more about him, because, like, in these earlier games, he kind of comes across as, like, the crappy little brother character. Because he was the little brother. He's not crappy, but he was the little brother. You had Sun Jian, who was the dad, who got killed in an ambush. And then you had, Sun
Show them
Ce,
our strength.
who was like the brave older brother character. He was like the older of the two, and he was like noble and upright and energetic and all these things. But he also got killed in a
Don't fall behind.
how did he die? Did he die from illness? What did kill Sun Ce? Can't remember now. But then you have Sun Quan, who's just sort of like the third one. You know, it's like Wu kept getting passed to different people's hands. Like they couldn't decide who was going to be the leader. And so eventually it came to Sun Quan, and I don't know, he always just kind of seemed like he sucked.
Officer.
He didn't suck. He was actually in charge of Wu for longer than the other two, but you know, he was the third one. It's like he's the crappy one. Here we go. Hey, Cao Cao.
I will show you the path to the spirit world.
So this man harvests faces. That was an old joke that me and a friend had. For some reason, we decided that Cao Cao, in his off time, decided to cut people's faces off and dry them on walls. He's a face monger. I don't know how that came about, really. I don't know why we started saying that Cao Cao harvests people's faces, but we did. It was funny. Oh no, oh no. Okay. Beep. What I'm doing right here, this like hit, and then juggle.
Do not think this is the end.
Is a skill, important skill to learn if you're playing Dynasty Warriors. Gotta learn to juggle. Jabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-bow. Now we can get off this burning ship. Here we go! Look at me go! Zip, 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 zip. Eat all the reds. Eat all the reds. Delicious. Anything cool? No. No! Both of those are lame. A lot of mountain defense. I'll take that. No. Ooh. No. Lame. Yay, I'm the 4th South General. What does that mean? I don't know. Fei.
Wu's fate hangs in the balance of this fight. I shall gladly place my life on the line.
Do not say that. You should never tempt fate.
I shall gladly place my life on the line.
You're
Oh,
in
it's
good
Gan
hands.
Ning.
You're in my hands.
So that at the end, Gan Ning was famous for he's a pirate. He was a pirate, and he wore like bells on his belt because he didn't want to sneak up on anybody. He's like, if you hear bells coming, it's me, and I'm gonna kill you. And yeah, so he was known as Gan Ning of the Bells. That's a cool name, right? That's a cool name. That's what everyone wants to be called. Something of the bells. He's like the deadliest Santa Claus. What's the introduction? What is this?
After Cao Cao leads his giant navy south to Changjiang, Sun Quan and Liu Bei head to meet him at Chibi. Despite being outnumbered, the strategies of Zhou Yu and the allied forces proved successful, preserving the peace of Changjiang.
Okay.
Having withstood Wei's invasion, Wu prepares for a counterattack. Sun Quan, leading a large army, passes through Changjiang and towards the Wei territory. Quickly defeating the defenses at Huan Castle, the Wu army heads north. In 215, the Wu army begins the invasion of Hefei. Hearing of Wu's attack, Cao Cao sends reinforcements after consulting with Zhang Liao. The moment of truth for Sun Quan and the Wu army has arrived.
Oh. All right. Yeah. I like history. It's interesting to me. It's interesting to me. I probably should have been a historian, but what are you gonna do?
Head for the
I don't
northwest
remember
road.
this fight at all. Like, I really don't remember this level. When I was a kid, oh, I remember this battle, but I don't remember this actual level.
I, Zhang Jiao, will oppose you.
Okay. This is the one where Sun Quan got himself trapped. Like, he gets ambushed and almost dies from it. Yeah, I remember this one. I don't remember this level though. Yeah, when I was a kid, like, I pretty much decided I would play as the Shu forces, which are like the green ones, and my buddy played as the Wei forces. And so nobody played as Ooh, attack +4, yes please. And so, like, most of the Wei stuff, I don't know. I know the places where they work together with Shu, but beyond that, I don't know. There's pots here, though. I'm gonna break these. I'm gonna put a lot of work into making those pots. And I just broke them. Broke them. There's Jiazu. I really wish I had my 4th level weapon. Or even my 3rd level weapon. Like, you don't have your full combo until you have at least your 3rd level weapon. So that's kind of annoying.
An officer.
I think in this game, in order to get your 4th level weapon, you actually have to find it using like a special thing. Like, everybody has like a special event you have to accomplish to get it. So, I don't know. It's a little bit better than DW4 because in DW4 they made it so that in order, like, your weapon, you don't find weapons, you just sort of like gain weapon experience, which level up your weapon slowly. So, like, in this one you can actually get lucky and get a level 3 weapon early on, but in DW4 you're pretty much like, you're guaranteed to get a better weapon eventually, but yeah, you gotta work at it for a while. Ow! Stop! No, stop! Don't hurt me! I'm a lady.
You're too deep. Be careful.
Here we go. Ow! Ow! Stop! Stop hurting me!
I defeated an officer.
Oh, there's a joke that a friend of mine and I have with Ju Huang. This guy. Ju Huang is like a in all of the Dynasty Warriors games, he's characterized as a very like I am a noble warrior kind of character, and so he says stuff like, behold my might, or like, this is the true strength of a warrior, and stuff like that. And
I defeated an officer.
in one Dynasty Warriors game, I don't remember which one it was we were playing, but my friend and I were playing on, like, we must have been Dynasty Warriors 7. We were playing on, like, we were playing online, and we were playing, like, we were talking over Discord. And so, we were just laughing and joking and stuff like that. And then, out of nowhere, Zhu Huang shows up, and his little thing that he would say when he uses his Muso in, Dynasty Warriors 7 was, behold the pinnacle of might! And he basically just makes a big explosion. Well, like, so he said, behold the pinnacle of might, then smashed me with his great axe, and it did like 4/5 of my health in one shot, and all I said was, hot damn! It was like, behold the pinnacle of might, hot damn! I ran away. That's my friend on Discord, that's all he heard. He just heard, like, behold the pinnacle of might, and then me just yell hot damn in a really country accent. Oh my goodness. That's what I always think of when I see Zhu Huang. Hot damn! It's very silly. I love those kind of things though, like jokes that you get from playing games with friends and like inside jokes and stuff like that. I guess it's just like any other form of inside joke. They're always fun because they make you feel more connected. Oh, it's Cao Cao.
To kill one of such skill.
Am I not supposed to be here? I feel like I'm not supposed to be here yet. I just did what he told me. He said go follow the Northwest Road, so I did, and now I'm fighting Cao Cao. Is this... hang on. Conditions? Okay, yeah. I'm gonna leave. I don't want to fight Cao Cao right now. I'm gonna leave. Bye. See you later. I'm leaving. Bye. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like with any inside joke, you feel connected to, like, not only is it funny, and not only is it like a good memory, but it's also like it makes you feel more connected to those people, you know? Because it's like it's something special. It's like being in a club, you know? It's like I'm part of the Behold the Pinnacle of Might club. You know, it's like I know this joke, and that's fun. That's why I used to love playing games with friends. That's why I stream and do stuff like this. It's because I want to be able to share those experiences with people. Because I think they're fun. So I hope y'all enjoy it too. Hey everybody! I have duck hooks! Mandarin duck hooks! Wah! Why are they called duck hooks? I don't know! I'm only mostly sure that they're called duck hooks. What are those weird crossbows with like 2 bow limbs? Weird looking. Meow, wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, we're almost up against 2 hours. That's fine.
You shall not stand in my lord's way.
She fights with a flute. Zhang Jiao. She was made for this character. A femme fatale character. What's especially funny about her is that, like, you definitely get the impression that they were just trying to add, like, they were looking for any excuse to add another female character. Because Cao Pi, her, like, your sleeves, you're not wearing sleeves. I got my sleeves dirty, so I ripped them off. But yeah, her husband, Cao Pi, didn't actually get like didn't become like a playable character until I think Dynasty Warriors 5. So they were really trying to find some way to have a woman in the Wei army. They had kind of the same problem with Shu, honestly. It was a sausage fest.
We must
need more dudes, or need less dudes, more ladies. Actually, one of my favorite ladies that they added for this one, or was it for the next one? I think it's for the next game. One of my favorite characters, and I can't remember what her name is. It's not Zhurong. She is Zhuge Liang's wife. Oh my goodness, I can't remember her name right now. Yue Ying. She's cool. I like her a lot. Actually, sort of a funny thing about Yue Ying, that it's kind of like, it's funny and also kind of like tragic. honestly, that this is like a part of history that was documented about the character, about her. Apparently, she was not terribly attractive historically, because as you might expect, a lot of women in such an old story were primarily, you know, just for show. Sorry to say, but that's, you know, a lot of the time when they talk about women in these stories, they'd be like, and she was the most beautiful, and as a result, he was special because he had the most beautiful wife. And that's like it. But apparently with Yue Ying, she was supposedly not very attractive. And Zhuge Liang married her because she was smart. He actually married her for her brains, which is kind of nice. But I also kind of wish that history wasn't like, also she was soups ugly, bro. She may have been smart, but wasn't nobody else marrying her?
We must
It's like, wow, y'all. You decided to keep track of that, did you? You couldn't have just said she was really smart. Apparently she was super good at like, she understood astronomy and meteorology, which was significant because during the Battle of Chibi, that allowed Zhuge Liang to paint himself as like a sorcerer or a holy man. Is that like basically the idea was that you know, they wanted to do that fire attack, which involved needing a southeasterly wind to blow northwest so that the arrows would carry farther and go onto the boats. And so when Zhuge Liang and the Wu, I think it was probably was it Lu Meng? No, not Lu Meng. What was his name? Lu Su, I think was his name. Who was the strategist for Wu at the time. We're talking about it there. Zhuge Liang was like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, I can make that work." Or like he talked to his wife briefly. He's like, yeah, well, we can make sure that a southeasterly wind blows that day." And like, all it was that he just read the weather. he read the weather reports from his brilliant wife, and she's like, "Yeah, that there should be a southeasterly wind blowing that day." And so he was able to seem like he did something incredible or like magical, but in reality he just used science, his wife's science. Isn't that cool? So remember that, folks. You may think when you decide on someone to stick with for the rest of your life, you may think looks are important, but that's gonna be a long time, and that brain's gonna be more useful in the long run. Beauty is transient. Brains will last for much longer. Brains. Make sure you get their brains. Marry someone for their brains. So I guess the creepy thing I'm saying right now, I apologize. The more I said it, the creepier I felt, so there you go. Marry for brains. Beat up Zhao Zhao now. I mean, there's that whole southwest section that I never had to go down to, so I guess maybe if you're playing as a different character, you start off in that region and you have to do more, but I just kind of went up here immediately and it was fine. Zhao Zhao, why'd you do? Where'd he go? Kill! Oh, come on, he's right there. Kill him. Oh, fudge. Use some food. I'm way over here now. Don't hurt me. There's Zhao Zhao. Kill him. There we go.
I cannot die yet.
Meow, 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 meow. Whee! Look at my health. I really cut that one close. Anything cool? Ooh, well, yes. Still no level 3, but that's pretty good. take that. Like that. I didn't get any items. Okay. Oh, nice. I'm the second East General. Whatever that means. Yiling. What happened to Yiling? Oh, yeah, Yiling.
The Shu army has encamped on the banks of Changjiang.
It's time. Spread the word. At midnight, we move to the river to face the Shu army.
Yes.
That's Lu Xun, by the way.
This battle shall surely decide the fate of Shu and Wu.
Yep. I think this is the battle where, here's the battle where Guan Yu died? This might be the battle where Guan Yu died. Yan Yan! Hey, it's Shamok! Ma Chao dead now? What doing way over here? Alright, well, I'm gonna... That's enough for tonight, I think. I think it's enough for tonight. Yeah, this was fun. It's fun to just play this game. I just yammer on about Dynasty Warriors stuff. Go ahead and save. Ooh, I hope you all enjoyed it. I enjoy playing this, so... I hope maybe for some people it was a little blast from the past, maybe a game you haven't seen in a while. And for me it was fun, so... we will play some more in the future, but for now we will stop. And I hope you all enjoyed it. I am the MoeChicken, this has been Dynasty Warriors 3, and thank you for stopping by.